Welcome to Friday Value Video. And last week we talked about how important it is to get sun because nothing lives or grows without it. We would be that frozen rock. Well, we talked about a few things last week, but this week I want to move on to vitamin D deficiency or hormone D deficiency, if we want to be more accurate. Now, there are many studies that show supplementing D is ineffective in preventing or reducing the risk of disease. There's a lot out there that is still not been determined. And if you're supplementing with D, and again, I'm not telling anyone to stop taking anything that's been prescribed or recommended by a healthcare practitioner, but if you're doing it because, you read a book or you saw an advertisement or you saw something on YouTube, well, if you're supplementing with D, it's important that you know studies show large amounts of supplemental D can actually be stored in fat tissue. And the clinical significance of this finding is as yet unknown. It's possible that vitamin D toxicity might occur at some point without warning. What's definitely been found is that serum vitamin D levels, or hormone D, which is with blood work results, do not reflect the amount of vitamin D stored in the body because it is found to be stored in the tissues. What are some of the symptoms of excess D? This list is a little bit interesting. Anorexia, weight loss, constipation, weakness, fatigue, bone pain, indigestion, malaise, decreased memory, failure to thrive, calcium imbalances, high blood pressure, reduced kidney function. Now, of course, I'm not telling anyone if you have any of those symptoms that you have you have too much D in your body, but it's an interesting list, don't you think? Now, the Institute of Medicine did a report on, they call it vitamin D. Almost 1,000 studies were reviewed to determine how much calcium and vitamin D are needed, because they kind of work together, and how much is too much. They concluded that most people get adequate calcium from foods, and most people have adequate blood levels of vitamin D from sunlight exposure. Some experts have stated that individuals with vitamin D levels of less than 30 are deficient, but the committee determined that 20 to 30 is optimal for bone health, and that almost all people are in that range. Now, here's another idea that a lot of people haven't thought about. Sunlight is not just a source for hormone D. There is a difference between vitamin D synthesized from the sun and vitamin D taken orally. Hopefully, we realize that's logical. There's still much to learn about how much we benefit from sunlight exposure. Yet many studies have confirmed that supplementing with D is not the same as being in sunlight. The reason is sunlight stimulates neuroendocrine and immune system functions that are independent of hormone D production or plasma levels. Since there are additional photo products made in response to sun exposure that are not in the supplemental form of vitamin D, it's important that we get the sun. It's not just D. Just 10 to 15 minutes in the sun is the equivalent of taking between 15,000 and 20,000 international units of vitamin D supplement, but without the potential for toxicity. Now, of course, as I said, use common sense, don't burn, but we need sun. We need the sun. All right. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to sharing more next week on a new topic.